Hi, South Valley. My name is Rachel Ortiz, and this is my story. I was asked to share my testimony, and if I could be frank, my first response was absolutely not. I'm not the one. I have nothing special to say and to share. And thinking that way is really what got me into church in the first place. I didn't think that I would be the right fit. But after talking with my husband and going over things that Ricky has shared with the church before, and being bold in our faith is really what we're asked and called to do. I didn't want to pass up this chance to share with you all. And trust God and step out in my faith, truly. So I grew up in a small town in Templeton, California. I was baptized as a baby in a Catholic church. My parents were married in a Catholic church, and really that was the extent of my experience. We really didn't pursue God in our home or outside of that. A relationship with Him was like far beyond anything I really knew to look for. So I kept living my life my way, and graduated high school. I met my son's father, and we had Dominic. Dominic's going to play a huge role in my story. He's not just who made me a mom for the first time, but he's also going to be my first experience with difficult, meaningful tragedy. Dominic was born July 22nd, 2007, 5 days after my 20th birthday. We knew he was going to be a boy a few days prior to that. I was 5.5 months pregnant, and he decided to come into the world at 1 pound, 5 ounces. So as you can expect, we spent months in the NICU in San Luis Obispo, and that's when I began to question everything that I thought God was and does, and I blamed myself for a lot of what was going on with Dominic, and I felt like I was being punished for choices and my past, and that in my mind this must be how God works. Eventually my relationship with his father fell apart, despite being angry and still crying out for God for help. I felt like he wasn't listening, or at least not to me. I spent years searching for something to hold on to, and something that would tell me Dominic was going to be okay. I prayed for community and friendship and hope. But at the time, it really all felt like unanswered prayers. I was really far from God at that point in my life. By 2022, I was in a stable and healthy relationship. We moved to Lemoore and felt led to find a church that we could start healing our family. That's when we found South Valley, and I joined a Rooted group, which, shout out to my Rooted group. I love them very much. I knew I would meet people, and I did. I knew I would learn more about the Bible, and I did. I didn't know what Rooted was going to do for me and what that was going to mean. For the first time, I felt like God was actually calling me to be exactly where He wanted me, and around people who were going to feel like home. My Rooted group was an answer to prayer. At the end of Rooted, Daniel and I were baptized together by Ricky, and in November, we were just on fire for the Lord, and so grateful for everything that He had done for us up until that point. A few months later, in January of this year, we reached out to Ricky again, and we knew that we were missing one last thing, and we wanted to be married, and we wanted Ricky to be a part of that. So he did, and we've been married now for 4 months. As for Dominic, I don't want to leave you hanging on that part of the story. There was a lot that happened over the last 18 years with him, but that will be his testimony to tell. What I can say is that he is a senior at Lemoore High, graduating in June and turning 18 in July. To know him is to truly love him. If you've met him before, he lights up the room, and he will always talk to anyone who comes up to him. He's a walking miracle, and I'm so proud of who he's becoming. Looking back on the last almost 18 years with Dominic, I felt like my life was full of punishment, full of silence from God. But I see things so much differently now. I've opened my heart to him and invited him in, really. And the love and grace that God has showed is poured all over my story, even when I didn't think he was there. So thank you for letting me share, and thank you, South Valley, for being a part of that.